Jennifer Aniston, who was one of the stars of Friends, claims that comedians are really having a tough go at things. It's just not a great climate for comedians. Now look, there's some truth to what she said in this interview. And of course, she was being interviewed because she has an upcoming Netflix movie, Murder Mystery 2. But there are some areas where she didn't get it quite right. So let's talk about it. She says, quote, "Comedy has evolved, movies have evolved. Now it's a little tricky because you have to be very careful, which makes it really hard for comedians. Because the beauty of comedy is that we make fun of ourselves, make fun of life. So far, so good, right?" And I get what she's saying. There are certain sensitivities that maybe comedians don't want to be so sensitive about, and it could lead to backlash. But here is one part where she stops making sense, if you ask me. She says, "In the past, you could joke about a bigot and have a laugh. That was hysterical. And it was about educating people on how ridiculous people were. And now we're not allowed to do that." I disagree. I think you can definitely mock bigots. In fact, I think that's the preferable response to bigotry, right? Because especially right now, I feel like some of the bigotry that you hear from, let's say, right-wing politicians or right-wing media figures, it's done to get a reaction from people like us. They love it. They love to, whatever, in their minds, we're owning the libs. They love to see people get upset with them. But no one likes to be mocked. So I loved seeing people get real creative and effective in mocking the bigots. I love it, can't get enough of it.
Well, I think she's referring to probably a couple of different things. So in the old days, you have a show like Archie Bunker, and Archie Bunker is making fun of Archie Bunker. It's making fun of his old ways of thinking that are bigoted, racist at times, etc. And it has a laugh at his expense, and the country laughs along and things get better. And Norman Lear, legendary producer, who's very progressive, is the one that did that show and did a lot of those shows, and he helped push the country in the right direction. But even so, if you watch old episodes, you go, I don't know that they let that on TV today, right? So there's a little bit of truth to that in that way. But second thing is more important. Hollywood executives are among the most conservative people in America. Now, of course, you haven't heard that in the right-wing pushes that mainstream media accidentally aids and abets it, the idea that Hollywood is so liberal. And there is reason why. The stars are liberal, generally speaking. The celebrities are oftentimes liberal, progressive, different shades of being on the left, right? A couple of standout right-wingers, but overall, much more so.
But the executives, yeah, that makes sense.
But the executives are deeply conservative. Now, an amazing story that proves it, that was just in the news today. So Adam McKay has done another giant star-studded movie. He's doing one, and it's about lobbyists. And it's a lobbyist who is an assassin and then covers up his own killings by paying off politicians. It's genius. And it's got Robert Downey Jr. and 1,000 other A-listers. Like, it's so star-studded, just like his last movie was Don't Look Up. Don't Look Up broke a record for most popular movie in Netflix history. Adam McKay has won Oscars, incredibly well received. He can't sell it to the streamers. Several of them have already rejected it. What are you talking about? What do you mean? It's got every star in the world. It's got Adam McKay. It's an amazing plot. They don't like it, it's too political. It might offend lobbyists. So it's ridiculous. No, one of the things that Hollywood executives are scared to death of is offending Trump voters. So, that's half the country, don't want to offend them, want to get ticket sales, right? And anything political that is, especially from a progressive slant, Hollywood executives hate. Look at all this money they're turning down in the Adam McKay project. They would make tons and tons of money from that movie.
Well, they're lobbyists too.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, they lobbied during COVID to get special treatment.
100%.
Come on.
And some of those executives might have caught feelings because they use lobbyists.
Of course, as Cenk would say. Yes, I know this.
So my point is, Jennifer Aniston, when she says we can't even make fun of bigots, there is some truth to that. Like if you're in a major movie or a major show now, they probably won't let you do it.
How did you make this about corruption, Cenk? Like how? I just want to escape, like for 1 minute, for one segment, for one post game.
But it is. Anyway, go ahead, keep going.
She suggested that these changes might be some of the reasons why Hollywood is turning out fewer comedies in recent years, which makes me really sad actually. Because no offense to the Marvel something whatever universe that everybody's like obsessed with.
Cinematic.
Yeah, whatever. But like I do miss the Judd Apatow comedy movie days.
Oh, I know.
Right?
But you know what? Maybe those are probably politically incorrect these days.
They are, and they're great.
Yeah, and
they're so fun to watch. Everybody just, this is what I want more than anything, for people to not take themselves so seriously and just enjoy, like have a sense of humor and be able to laugh at yourself. Not everything is like life and death.
Okay, I have a confession, okay? So first of all, Anna's right, and this
sometimes I like naughty stuff from back in the day, okay? Wow. Sometimes I like it. Not because I agree with some of the language used or whatever, but it's because I'm so sick of like having to second guess everything, because everything's offensive.
Everything.
Literally everything is offensive.
Yeah.
You can't even say, oh, this is the master bathroom to my house or whatever.
Oh yeah, because like, you got a master.
Everybody calm down, calm down, calm down.
Okay, and can poor people really take a bath? Should we call it a bathroom? Oh, please, I'm begging you, please go away.
That's not a thing, is that a thing?
No, I made that one up. But you know what, no, I'm giving them ideas, you never know. So look guys, this is a bipartisan thing. Yes, the extreme left also is maniacal about being offended about everything, okay? Everything. So my guilty pleasure is Ricky Gervais. Everybody's got a different cup of tea. As for me, Dave Chappelle's unbearable now. He doesn't even bother making jokes, and he's like weirdly on a warpath to protect the rich. It's not that weird. He's rich. Okay, I get it. Anyway, I don't find him funny anymore. But Ricky Gervais makes jokes in the same vein, right? In the same subject matter, etc. And I think he's hilarious. So cancel me if you like, okay? But yeah, I think for God's sake, let him make jokes. And by the way, Chappelle, you should try it. Make a joke.
Go back to making jokes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so she says, everybody needs funny, I agree. The world needs humor, also agree with that. We can't take ourselves too seriously, especially in the United States. Everyone is far too divided.
Enormously true, but we're not gonna fix that. At least not soon. What you need, anyway, I don't want to get into politics.
Not with your rhetoric.
Okay. All right, anyways, one more thing about this. Look guys, I'm sure nobody's gonna agree with me, but friends, I pardon you. Okay, you have to understand time context. In that time, that was not considered wildly offensive, okay?
The show, yeah, and some of the stuff that they said. And so, I've been reminded of some of the stuff that happened in Friends that would not fly today, right? Like jokes about the transgender community, that kind of stuff. And I'm not excusing it if it were a show that was airing for the first time today, but it's not. It's a show from the 90s.
They don't have a time machine, okay? Don't be ridiculous. So Mrs. Doubtfire makes a couple of jokes that today are definitely transphobic and not good, and you shouldn't put that out there. But they didn't make the movie today. They made it a different day, and they weren't intending it. They didn't mean it. And look, what do you want us to do? Erase everything in the past that you're offended by today? That just doesn't make any sense. And guys, it doesn't mean, by the way, right wingers, it also doesn't mean we shouldn't get better. It doesn't mean that we should be purposely intentionally offensive in situations where we don't need to be offensive today, right? But we can't go and edit all the old movies and go, okay, that one's not right, and we don't think that one's right anymore. So Friends is an all-white cast. And
by the way, I'm gonna interrupt you. Sorry, okay, I'm just gonna do it because, guys, one of the best things about being able to go back and watch old movies, old shows, read books from back in the day before the culture changed and progressed is that it's a reminder that even though it feels like everything's falling apart and we've made no progress, would you look at that? We've made progress. That is a good thing. Understanding how things have changed through time, understanding what the country's history is, not just when it comes to politics and the founding fathers and all that, but also when it comes to entertainment, when it comes to mass media, understanding how all of that has evolved is a good thing.
I'm gonna say one more thing that's controversial. So all the stars in the past that did blackface, Jimmy Kimmel, Ted Danson, etc. Did they all go, okay, I am going to be racist today. I can't wait to make fun of black people. I'm going to put on blackface. I know the history of blackface and the lynchings and all that stuff, but I'm going to do it anyway. No, they did not intend to be racist. Does that mean that you should do blackface today? No, it's true. Blackface has a history that's terrible, right? And it did lead to lynchings, etc., right? But that doesn't mean that you have to hate Jimmy Kimmel because he didn't know and he did that skit. And Ted Danson was going out with Whoopi Goldberg at the time. Whoopi Goldberg didn't stop him from doing it, right? So it doesn't mean that they should have done it. It doesn't mean we should do it today. But it also doesn't mean that if someone didn't know, they should go back in time and say, you're guilty, and Friends, Jimmy Kimmel, all of you, go to entertainment prison, wherever you go, right? Back then, by the way, the country was over 70% white, and they had 6 main characters who were white. Okay. Cosby Show had an all black cast. Look, diversity's better in my opinion, and sure, you should try to have relatively diverse shows today, but not every show has to be perfectly diverse.
And by the way, guys, we're talking about Friends as if it was like, whoa, like just dripping in controversy. No, like the thing with Friends is I found it pretty boring, like a pretty boring sitcom. Let's just keep it real.
Yeah,
it was a boring sitcom.
But that's why this is so ironic. Now we're using a hot tub time machine to find vanilla offensive. It was like the most vanilla of all shows. It was meant not to offend people.
Right.
So it's a product of its time. Let's use proper context here, but do better going forward. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.